to try and break that stranglehold that China has. And it's going to take billions of dollars, because ultimately if you make a discovery, you want to be able to take it into production, and we've been blessed with the resource. China has spent 30 years building out a supply chain in rare earths when the rest of the world was asleep at the wheel.
Joining me today is Travis Binky from Australian Rare Earths in South Australia, one of the most prospective rare earth projects in the state. Travis, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
A few years ago, we weren't talking about rare earths very much. Probably didn't even know. A lot of people didn't even know what they were. What's changed?
Yeah, it's been really interesting the last few years. If you think back, China has spent 30 years essentially building out a supply chain in rare earths when the rest of the world was asleep at the wheel. They have monopolised the processes from the ore through to separation, metallisation and making magnets.
What kind of products, what kind of things? Just let our viewers know.
The rare earth permanent magnets are really powerful magnets that operate well at high temperature and high performance. So they go into things like electric vehicles, wind turbines, there's many defence applications, and even simple things like your mobile phones, the magnets in there.
China's been well ahead of the Western world. Can we catch up?
I think the world has certainly taken a step back and gone, how are we going to build out a supply chain? And it's going to take billions of dollars and time and technical expertise to build out that supply from mine all the way through to magnets at any sort of scale.
We saw recently the Federal Resource Minister Madeleine King over in Washington for further talks on critical minerals. Are these the right kind of steps the government needs to be taking?
What we're seeing play out around the world is many governments coming together to try and break that stranglehold that China has. What the Australian government has done is certainly important in the announcement of the Critical Minerals Strategic Reserve, and we were very pleased to see rare earths as one of the first three elements as part of that. So underpinning long-term offtake with price security is a big thing that the Australian government are looking at doing to really unlock our natural resources, which we think is fantastic.
Specifically, tell us a little bit about the Copper project that AR3 has.
At Copper we have an ionic clay deposit. It's in the southeast of South Australia, and we've been blessed with the resource. It is a very large resource that has multi-generational potential, and we're at the very early stages of defining that resource, which is already a large 240 million tonne resource, but we're also very confident that we'll be able to grow.
From what I understand, it's clay-based and there's a few benefits that come with that. Can you explain some of those?
There's a number of rare earth projects around the world that are hosted in hard rock, and they are typically very capital intensive, very technically complex and hard to get into production because of some of those challenges. One of the beauties of the ionic clay deposits is the ease of which the rare earths are being able to separate from the clay host. So, we can extract those rare earths in some simple, low technical risk processes to then take those rare earths from solution into a purified product. So that lower capital, lower technical risk is one of the benefits of the ionic clay deposits like we have at Copper.
Given the shallow nature of it and the clay, does that make rehab a little bit easier along the way as well?
Yeah, definitely. So the way that we're looking at developing the project is via a rapid rehabilitation program. So we'll have a series of small pits where the ground will be uncovered while we're extracting the rare earths. But very quickly we're going to be returning the clay and the soils and rehabilitating the land in a very quick period of time so that we can hand the farm back, or the land back, to farmers so that they can carry on with their livelihood. It's a really important part of the project that we are working very closely with our landowners to ensure that we can leave the land, hopefully, where we can, in a more sustainable and productive state than it is today.
AR3 also has some interests in uranium in South Australia. Just tell us a little bit about Overland.
We've picked up a few uranium projects. Our most advanced one is the Overland Uranium Project. We've put a foothold on 8,000 square kilometres of tenure within the Murray Basin of South Australia, which is a prospective frontier for uranium exploration with very little exploration done historically. So we're very encouraged with the early results, and it's certainly a great jurisdiction for uranium exploration because ultimately if you make a discovery, you want to be able to take it into production, and South Australia is the only state in Australia where there is operating uranium mines.
On that, do you think other states and territories are kind of missing the beat a little bit, seeing South Australia do it for so long and safely?
I think there's a great opportunity. I mean, we know Australia is well endowed with our natural resources, including uranium, not only in South Australia, but in other states and territories around Australia. So yeah, there's a great opportunity. We've demonstrated it can be done safely. So let's see what the other states do.
And in less than 30 seconds, where do you see things in the next 6 to 12 months for AR3?
Big year for us. So we will deliver a pre-feasibility study this year for Copper-Murra. We'll then follow that with a pilot plant at ANSTO in Sydney. And we'll also submit our initial mining lease application. So some really key milestones for the project that advances the project and why we believe Copper-Murra is the most advanced ionic clay project here in Australia. We're ready to go and looking forward to it.
Exciting. Well, we appreciate your support of the association and all the best for 2026 and beyond.
Thanks,
Travis. Cheers.